Hi everyone. Hi everyone. I hope everybody joined. We can start the session. Um, did anyone try it yesterday whatever we have discussed? The paradigm flows? Did anybody got a chance to at least check? Yeah, this one.
I have done even Harish given hand hand on experience that part.
I was given some assignment.
Yeah,
Okay. You tried?
yeah. I don't know if this is right. Can I share?
Yes, you can quickly share your screen and show.
In Hello.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Is it just correct?
Okay, can you go and edit more so that we can see what you have implemented? Okay, food orders, entity you have.
Then
Okay, what was the requirement given by the
mm,
Harish? When a food
meal
order is
and
created, send an email notification to waiter with details, customer name, food item, and quantity. Okay, so here the second step you have add a new row, and again you're creating a food order entity recorder. So which is not required. You can directly just go with the send an email notification. But I did check that this send an email notification is not working in the test instance. But I'm not so sure about this one. But when I checked, so it is saying
After
we
creating,
should use the Outlook one. Huh. Huh. Record is getting created, but mail is not going right. But as
yeah,
per the Harish requirement, we have to just send an email notification once the food order record got created. Second step is not needed. Can you go back and show me your run history? Why it is in like it's not failing, but it is still running status. Yeah. Can you open any one run? Yeah. Okay, expand that one.
which one?
Send an email notification. Oh, it is retrying. Okay, go on edit mode and show me what is the two here. Just open it and waiter name. Instead of waiter name, if the waiter has the details, in CRM, can you show me how this food order entity is having these details? Where is the waiter details? Where we have waiter details? You can open any existing one if you have.
Really, haven't created.
Just open any one.
I mean, entered.
Here, okay, then just try to create one record and there add waiter details. I just want to see how the waiter details are getting captured in the food order record. Can you try creating one record, food order record?
Last is
Here only. Just
power,
click on new and create a new record.
power is shutdown. Okay.
Okay, meanwhile, is anybody else has started this one? Okay. Okay, this one, maybe once we are done with our class, at the end of the class session, we can check your whatever the work you have tried. Okay, we can maybe let's start with the session so that we won't be late. Let me share my screen. So I'll just explain briefly what we have discussed yesterday. So we have gone through the types of flows, para-automate flows we have, and also why we will be going with the para-automate flows. And then what type of flows we have, and each flow we have tried as well. What is the trigger for three types of flows: automated cloud flow, an instant cloud flow, and scheduled cloud flow. In the automated cloud flow, whenever we do perform any actions in the dataverse, so based on that, our cloud flow will get triggered. And then instant cloud flow, based on the demand, we will manually hit the flow so that it will get executed. And then scheduled cloud flow. So this is recurrence based. So maybe based on like if we have to do the repetitive task daily without user intervention, then we can go with the scheduled cloud flow. So that will just schedule it at particular point of time and it will run on its own. Okay, so these are the three we have checked yesterday, and we have created the flows for three types as well. And today we'll be checking like we'll be going details into like how we can explore more in details into the like while creating the flows for the performance and all, how we can create a best flow. So that we're going to check, maybe not everything, maybe few we can discuss today. Okay, this is not working. I can show you that later. So here I have for the automated workflows, I have told you that whenever we are doing some kind of action in the dataverse, then based on that trigger, for example, here my trigger is whenever a course record is getting added, then trigger this work automate flow, cloud flow. Okay. So maybe if the traffic is more, meaning, for example, in my organization, per minute, maybe thousands of records, course records are getting created. Okay, let's suppose say thousands of records are getting created at that time. What will happen to this one? So per minute, thousands of records means it will hit like multiple times. But based on the limitations, it shouldn't be that way. So in such cases, what I can do, I can add another conditions, inbuilt triggering conditions of the parametric flow from the setting sections. So if you use the Power Automate like a new feature, I guess you'll be seeing directly. But if you are using the classic, this is a classic view, then you can you should select this three dots, and here you can see the settings option and come down, and here you have a trigger condition option. So instead of even triggering whether, for example, here my trigger is on create, right? So instead of just having only one trigger, the built-in trigger condition also we can add here. Okay, but it's not normally how we are dynamic content or something like that added or modified. That kind of things are getting in the first place. That will not be here. Okay, we have to use some expression so that it will validate with the triggering details. For example, while creating a record, I will provide some details. For example, while creating the course, I might have course ID or course name. So based on that condition, value, I'll add some condition. For example, if course name starts with this or course name contains this, so such kind of conditions I can add here so that my flow only trigger for such course record creations only. Okay, is everybody with me? Okay, so now I'll show you what kind of expressions we can use. So for example, I will say, first I'll see what are all the data it is providing. Body, I can see from here whatever the text, I mean, the flow run which I'm having previously. So I'm checking what are all the details I'm getting from this trigger. So based on this, I can just add in the triggering condition. So this way we can just avoid any errors. So here I'll take this one, LUIT name. Okay, I'm going to edit more. And then bring- and here I should provide some expressions. So let's suppose say I'm using equals operator. I'm saying equals, and I should use this way trigger outputs, because from which data I am comparing, whatever the data I'm getting in the triggering output, meaning whenever I'm creating the course record. So that details will be present in this trigger step. So I'm saying in the trigger outputs, which data I have to compare from the body of this one. You'll get this syntax from the Google also, so you don't have to worry about this one. But it is same for all of them. You just have to change the column name, whatever you are trying to get it. For example, here I'm using LUIT name. Okay. I'm using equals here. So direct comparison. Direct, like exactly this should match with whatever I'm providing here. Okay, so what should I provide? Maybe. Okay, I'll just go with this one. LUIT. Okay. So here I'm having this operator equals, and which what I'm checking, this should match with this. So this is nothing but the created records LUIT name should match with this LUIT, then only trigger this flow. Otherwise, don't trigger it. Okay, I'm just saving it. And this will not work. I'll show you why this is not working, because they have shown us some information about it, why it's not working. So I just want to show this as well. Okay, I'll just save it. First, I'll show you for the existing runs. So yesterday we have created a few records, right? For them, I'm trying now. So I have not created the course record by the name LUIT. So which means it should not get triggered. So just a second. Yeah. Okay, maybe let's go with creating one new record only. It's saying that run is not available. So I'm just going to create one new course record. You can see it's keep on loading, but it is not getting triggered. Let's create one more record with the name LUIT. Okay. It's not working. Not everything. Let's trigger outputs body. Oh, sorry, spelling mistake. Uh, Creating one more record. It's table name LUIT course. It came here. LUIT. Don't know why it was not showing there, but here you can see flow ran successfully. Let me try for another. Test manually. Will create with another name. Let's see if that front history is there or not for this record. Usually when we run it at that time itself, it will show ran successfully, but somehow it's not showing that way for this one. And you can see this record I have created with different names, so it didn't even get triggered. But when I created with LUIT, it triggered. So let me just create one more thing, one more time. Okay, you can see 1 minute ago, it got triggered. So, by using this inbuilt triggering conditions, we can even just reduce the number of occurrences. For example, here maybe we can add after that whatever the change type we have, right? Added modifier or something. And if it is modified, then based on the filter type, let me show you that. Based on the filtered rows or selected columns. So for example, if I added this as a modified and if some column is getting modified in this table, then only trigger this one. So at least it is checking until here. And after that, uh, also I'm adding one more condition in the triggering condition so that it will check there itself and the value, because here whatever the value I'm having here in this record, I might not be able to check in this. So obviously I have to go to the next step, and in the if else condition I have to check whether the value is this. For example, if the name contains this LIT, then stop this flow. So what is happening there? It is triggering this flow and checking the value in the next step, and then the flow is getting cancelled, which means there one time the flow is getting hit, so which is not required. So if we use this way, what we are doing here, whatever the value that we are getting in this step, that we can check here itself, and based on that we can say whether this has to continue or not. So the flow hit is not counted here because in the built-in triggering condition itself it is stopping. Okay, this is the use of this built-in trigger conditions in the cloud flows. So which is very useful because, in as I mentioned, Power Automate has the limitation for each instance. So per day, only few hits should be happened. Okay. So to avoid that one, to increase the performance, we can use this trigger condition. Not only this one, but from here also we can use. You can use the content of this, whatever the record is getting added or modified. So that data you can use in the trigger conditions. Okay, that is the use of this trigger conditions. Any questions here? So this way you can add for like multiple conditions also you can add. For example, here I'm only checking for one. So what if I have to check for multiple? Not only the name, maybe I have to check for other field values as well. Let's suppose say we have a course ID here, which is not present right now, but let's suppose say we have the course ID field as well. And course ID field, on course ID field also, if you want to add some condition, then we can add multiple conditions here as well. So for that one, we can use AND or logical operators and based on our requirement. So for both of them, it is same. The syntax is same. So I'll be showing for one. So the equals will be same here. I'll just remove this one. So wherever, I mean, whatever the operator we are using at the beginning, to that we should use this at the rate symbol. Inside is not required. Okay, so here I'm using and. So I should have two conditions here. Okay, the first condition is equals trigger outputs body LUIT name. I mean, the LUIT name should be LUIT. And the next is I can have another equals operator and add another field name and say that it should have this value. Or I can add a different operator as well. So let's suppose say instead of the equals, I'll take maybe not equals or something. So I'll say not. Instead of not equals, I'm just going to check the empty whether this is having this shouldn't be empty. Name shouldn't be empty, then only trigger this one. Obviously, that is a required, so I don't even have to check, but just to for the understanding how we can use the operators, multiple operators, I'm just using this one. So what I'm saying, LUIT name should not be empty. Not empty. And this is same. You can just copy paste it. Yeah, this is it. Okay. One more should be there, right? Trigger output. One, two, three. Yeah. Okay. This way. Now, what it is doing, it is checking two conditions, and if both are true, then only this will get satisfied. The first condition is whether the name is having a LUIT. Oh, I think it should be or is fine in this case. Yeah, let's save it or. Okay. It should have LUIT or at least the name should contain some value. It should not be empty, which means for all the created records, it should get triggered. That is what it means. Okay, let's try it out. Let me see whether all the braces are correct or not. Oh, okay, done. Save it. So whatever the record I create right now, if it is having some value, then it will get triggered because I'm using OR operator here. So let me try test it manually. And let's create one with అయ్యో, 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 అయ్యో. Okay. Okay, 1 minute ago, you can see it actually worked because condition actually satisfied because it is having some value. And here it is a required, so I can't show another possibility. Like if it doesn't even have the value, how it will look like, I don't know. So if it is an optional field, we can try for that one as well, but this is a required, so we can't try this out. Okay. Any questions here? These are, I mean, whatever we have tried, apart from this, we have plenty of option operators also instead of this or equals not, we have plenty. Okay, you can try that one as well. Any questions or can we proceed further? Okay, I'll take that as S and we can move forward. So this is about the triggering conditions. And then the next topic would be, okay. Huh. Next topic is variables. So variables is nothing but to hold some value in this flow itself. Okay. For example, here I'm getting some value and if I want to compare that value or to pass it in some other steps or something like that, then I can just use these variables. And whenever we create variables, so it's always we should initialize on top of the flow itself after the trigger itself. It will not allow us to just initialize anywhere else also, but just for your information I'm saying, so at the top itself we should initialize all the variables whatever you want to. So you can search with variable and you'll see this one, just select and you'll see what are all the actions present inside this variable. Okay, so these are all the options we have, so one by one we can just explore. So first, to do anything, first we have to initialize variable. Whatever the variable you use, first we have to initialize it. Okay, so you can give the name anything so that whenever you want to use the value that you hold in this variable, that will be called with this variable. For example, I'll say the maybe status and the type we should select, and I'm selecting string and the value. This from here I'll be select. Oh, this is initialized, so not required to add the value here. Initial value we can add. For example, encoding also, like when we initialize the variable, the initial value we will be giving, right? So that way we can provide here. It is an optional, so if you don't have any initial value also, you can just ignore it. Okay, if the value that you are going to hold in this variable is not present at this step, meaning if it is not, if you are not going to hold the value that is present in the first step and you are going to just do some action here, maybe get a row by id and you are trying to get some other value, then you can just set the variable. Okay, let me show you what I can do. So the problem is here we only have one field, that is name. Okay. So if you have any lookup kind of thing, no, then maybe I can just show you like get a row by ID of that lookup record, related record, and maybe from there we can just hold some variable there. But let me just get a row by ID. I'll do the get a row by ID. And then we go contacts and create. Okay. Link it. And I'm saying add a new step, Microsoft Dataverse, and get a row by ID. Table codes. Row ID I can get from the first step. Unique identifier. Okay. Now I want to store some variable in my some value in my variable. Okay. You can see set variable. You can select it and then name. We only have one variable, so obviously we are only getting one here, and name. Enter variable value. From the dynamic content you can see it. For example, whatever the value I am getting in the get a row by id, so from here I want to store some value, maybe whatever the string we have. Status of the course. I don't know. I think we do have multiple fields. Let me. Mhm. Meanwhile, if possible, can somebody add some fields onto this form so that we can just explore more options if possible? Meanwhile, I'll just go with the whatever we have. But if anybody has the chance to, have time or able to just access this app and this course form, just try to add more fields onto this form. Okay, so for now, I'm just storing the status value only. I don't know, on form, we don't have this value. So whatever the by default value we'll be getting, so that only I'm storing here. Okay, I'll just save it. And I'll just change this trigger. Instead of add, I'll say added or modified. And then save it. Okay, now I'll test it manually and I'll update the course record. Instead of creating, this is the easiest thing. Oh, sorry. Okay. So it should get triggered and what is happening this one? You can check from the flow runs. Okay, here you can see. Hmm. Initialize variable, status, string, and then set variable. Status is 0. I think this. Wait a minute. Here we can check what status it holds and it is providing the correct value or not. I think status is nothing but this one only, active state. Oh, let me see. Status. Let me see where we are getting this one. Status of the course. Yeah, this only, the state code only. And it is giving us this value. Instead of this one, we can check for another value so that it will be easy for us. What else we have here? Only name is available as a string, so let me just take this only. If you are having multiple string fields on form, then it will be easy to search for more. I'll just take this only. Okay. Just with the existing run history. Use trigger. Okay, you can see set variable. We are setting this status variable as a MSC. Okay, just for an example. And later in maybe in next steps, maybe if you want to use this set variable, you can use it. For example, I'm going to use it in the condition. And here you can see variable is coming and status is not equals to or equals to or something like that. Okay, this is a straightforward requirement I have explained. I mean, example I have shown you, but based on the requirement, whenever you want to hold some value, which you want to use it in some complex scenarios, then we can go with this variables to hold some value. Okay, this is one example. And the next one that is available in this variable control itself is we have multiple. So you can also search, check on your own as well. And next we have increment and decrement variables. So by the name itself, you can know it. For example, initialize variable, and this I'm setting as an integer. And here I'm saying increment this variable by 1. Okay, initial value I said 0. For example, in coding we'll use, right, count equals to 0, and when it goes into the loop or when it satisfied some conditions, just increase the count. So that whenever a count is increasing, it means it went to the loop or it went into the condition. So by using that count, we can confirm that it went, the condition got satisfied or something like that, right? In such scenarios, here also we can use this count, increment variable. So first we have to initialize variable with an integer, and then initial value you can set it as 0. And then if here you can add some condition, and if this condition satisfy, inside the condition in a loop you can increment the variable from 1. Okay, later on you can check if the increment variable status is 1 or 2, which means it went into your condition, and based on that you can do some actions. Am I clear here? Any questions with this one? Okay, if it is 2, if status is equals to 2, this is our next condition actually. Here I can check for if name is equals to LUIT, then add an action. What I'll add variable, that is to increment the variable. Increment variable, this is the variable, enter value 1. Okay, so if this condition satisfies, then I'm incrementing this variable inside the condition, and I'm just removing this one. So you can rename the steps name so that it will be easy whenever you are just, here we are only having few steps, but in real time scenarios, you'll be having so many steps. So by seeing this get a row by ID, what row we are getting, set variable, which variable we are setting the value. So to know that, it's always best to just rename it properly based on your requirement. For example, here I'm saying increment status variable. Okay, this way you can just give a proper meaning, proper naming convention to your steps. Okay, so what I can do, maybe after this, I can just check for another condition and see whether my status variable having a value is equals to or is greater than something like that, is greater than 2, then only get a row by ID. Oh, this is the one, right? Update a row or whatever the actions you want to do, you can do based on the requirement. Okay, this is the increment variable. Same with the decrement. It's just that maybe initial you can just set it to 5, and then here inside the condition you can just use, instead of increment you can use a decrement variable. Okay, so use the decrement variable. By what number also you should provide. Okay, so this is increment and decrement. And the next we have is in the variable control itself, what other actions we have is append to variable and append to string variable. For example, in your field, in some cases like maybe I'm having a email field here, and in the email field I have two emails. So what I'll do, that is not a, that is a text field only, but I'm using a two emails in the same field. for example, let's suppose that this is the email field and I'm providing my test@gmail.com is one and test2@gmail.com is my another two emails I'm providing here. Okay, so it's not a single value, but it is two values. So whenever you'll be fetching this course value in the Cloudflow, it will be just provide you one entire entire text it will provide. Okay, so to split it, I mean, I want to have a two emails here. Maybe later on, I might use this to send some emails or notification to this course, whoever is enrolled. So to them, if I want to send email separately, then I'll have to get it separate values, right? In that cases, what I can do, I can use we should use, I mean, before using this one, we should use another split variable or, we should use split function that I'll show you. And then we should use this append to string or append to array variable. Sorry, first I'll go with append to string only. Okay, so here instead of just one value, here, for example, here I'm saying string and status. Initial value doesn't have anything. And if I'm saying status string, then it will only hold one value. But if I want to hold multiple values in this variable itself, then I can use this append to string variable and I can add multiple. For example, in maybe I'm using this inside a for each loop. So whenever new value is coming into this field, then I'm saying just hold inside this only, append to this variable itself. So it can hold whatever the values coming up from the data was if we have a multiple values. Okay, so it will be in a string format only. So later on, you have to just split it using the functions that I'll show you. Okay, this is to just hold the multiple values in a string format. Okay, so if you just use the set variable, then it will just only set one value. But if you use the append to string variable, then you can append multiple string values to this status variable. Okay, same way with append to array variable as well. Okay, so here whatever the data I'm holding, so here first I have to initialize a variable array variable. Initialize variable and array one and type should be array. Then only I'll be able to see this. Why have I did here? Okay, now you can see array one and here whatever the objects I want to add into this array that I can mention. So if it is for each, then these two, append to string and append to array, are the best options. If it is a single value, we can just go with the set variable. Otherwise, if you are having multiple values, if you want to store it in a single variable, then we can go with this append to string or append to array variable. And later on, using the data operations, we can split it based on our requirement. I'll let you know what the data operation, so don't worry about right now. Just know about these variables. So are we clear with this variable functionality? Okay, so this way, so we have seen string and array. This way we have multiple like data types, boolean or integer, float, object. So these all things we can write. For example, boolean, and maybe I'll say 0, and maybe in the next step I'll just say status to 1. Okay, it's just to hold this value, that's all. So based on this status variable, I can just add some conditions or do some checks or something like that. So it is the primary use of this variable is to just hold the value. Whenever you need it, you can use it. Okay. Yeah, this way you can try for the remaining things as well. Integer, we have seen the use case scenario for this integer. Whenever we are using the increment or decrement variable, then you use. Otherwise, if you want to just hold any integer type of variable, then also you can use this one. Integer type of field value, then also you can use this one. Okay, just try all of them in one flow, just for your understanding. Okay, I'll just remove them. Okay, let it be otherwise. Okay, are we clear until now? So that I can just move to the next step. Okay, I'll move to the next. So yesterday we have already talked about what are all the controls we have. Not all of them, but few we have already checked, right? Yesterday. In control itself, this condition is coming. Okay, the same way we have. So if you see here, in control, we have a multiple condition apply to each do until scopes which terminate. Okay, so we have already seen condition and apply to each. So today I'll be showing scope and terminate. This which will be similar to what we actually see in other coding languages. So I'll be explaining that as well. But first I'll show you these two. Okay, first the scope. Scope is nothing but we use try and catch blocks, right? So in the try block, whatever is we are trying, if it is throwing any error, then the error we throw in catch block. So that way we can use the scope here. Okay, directly inbuilt functionality is not this way. I mean, if you are just adding your conditions or whatever the operations you are performing here, if it is throwing an error, if you are having another scope block, it will not directly throw you an error. We have to configure it, then only it works as a try and catch block. Okay, let's suppose say whatever I have these conditions, right? I'll just add them into this one, and first I'll just rename it for the sake of just to understanding it bitterly. Okay, try, and inside that what I'm doing, I can just add these all the operations whatever I'm doing. So you can just drag it. This is the one way of just, oh sorry. Okay, you can just directly drag the step. Okay, otherwise there is another option. Just select these three dots and here you have copy to my clipboard. Just select it and add an action, and here you see this option my clipboard and select it. Is it okay? And then get show by ID, copy to my clipboard. And once you copied here, then you can just remove here. You see the replicates are adding here, not that, I mean, these are not getting moved. So after adding, you can delete it. Otherwise, you just simply drag it so that you don't have to do this twice. Okay. I will not be able to delete this get row by ID because this value, this name is output of this get row by ID. So until and unless I'm using this one, I'll not be able to delete this step. So first we have to remove the dependency. Sorry. Wait. And then delete the actual step. Okay. I'll just delete. I don't know what it contains. Then delete it. Okay. So these are all the operations I'm trying inside the try block. And then I'll add another scope for catch. Oh, sorry, it's control, right? and I'm renaming this as catch. And here I can add what happens, like if it is failing, then what I should do. I'm saying simply, I can have like whatever the error handling properties you have or the requirements you have, based on that you can create. But for now, I'm saying if that is throwing any error, just terminate it by saying status failed, cancelled, succeeded, whatever. So the terminate, what it will do, it will just stop the flow at this. I mean, if we add this at the starting also, it will stop it. So based on the condition, I'll just use this terminate action. So I'm saying if the try is a fail, then terminate this one in catch. But that condition I have not mentioned yet. So please remember that one. I have yet to explain that. Like if it is failing, so how the catch will know whether it is this try block is failing or not. That I'll explain. So first, let me just build this terminate action. So I'm saying just with the cancel state, just terminate it. Otherwise, if I say failed, then what will be the code and what will be the message? Okay, if it is succeeded, then it is succeeded. So that way we can just use these three types of status while terminating the flow. Okay, before that, how this will come here. So if any error is coming here, instead of just throwing error to the flow and fail the flow, I'm saying just terminate it with cancel status. So how I can do that? So go to this one, menu for try, and configure run after. You can see, right? This is only available here. Let me see. Oh, okay, okay, let me have this one. Okay, you can see configure run after, and the conditions actually is available here. Is successful or has skipped or is skipped or has timed out. If just a second, just a second. Here I should try. Sorry. Because I this is checking for the previous step, so I should try in the catch. So that configure run after, because I'm trying to run the catch after this try is successful or failed or is skipped or has timed out. So here not the successful, I'm saying if the try block has failed, then only run this catch, otherwise don't. Okay, this is the error handling in this power automate flow. So whatever all the operations, so this is just initialize variable. That is the reason I have not included in the try block. And whatever the operations I'm doing it, I have included that in the try block. And if I'm saying this catch should run after this, whatever the status. Like if it is a fail, then only it should go to this one. Otherwise, it will be as it is, whatever the status is getting after this one. If it is a success, then it is success. If it is a cancel, cancel. But if it is a failure, then come to this catch block. Okay, this is the error handling in Paratomid flow. Values required. Where values required? Let's do this one. Any questions here? Or any doubts? Or everything is understandable? Please let me know.
No, Jyoti.
Thank you. Yes, I hope it fails so that we'll see how the catch works. It is success. So you can see. Actually, this is a success, so it actually didn't went here. Okay, let me. I'm saying name is equals to LUT, right? LU. In this case also, it will not go to the catch block. Let me tell you why. First, we can try and then we'll let you know. Okay, in this case also, it actually didn't went there. This is a false, but it actually skipped this step. And then this is a success, so that is the reason it actually didn't went here. It should actually get failed, then only it will go to the catch block. So let me, oh sorry, not this one, but get a row ID, and instead of the course ID, I'll just give the wrong value here so that it will throw an error. Whatever I can provide. Maybe let's go with this one. Okay. Now it will fail and it will go to the catch block. Eh, mm, Test cancel. Okay. Okay, it got failed. So it came here and you can see it went to the terminate and cancelled. It actually throws an error, so then only it came here and cancelled. And if you just don't want that cancel also, if you want success, so that what happens now, like if our flow got cancelled or failed for so many times, Microsoft will automatically will turn off our flow. Okay, it will intimate us saying that your flow has so many failures, and at some point only it will turn off the flow. Okay, to avoid that, maybe we can just set the status as succeeded. But before that, we should handle the error properly, or else we should at least try like why it is failing. So that is a performance related thing. But for now, just I'm explaining. If we need any success status instead of this cancel or fail, that also we can try. So to just alter the status of the this flow run, it is actually a failure, but I'm saying terminate with a cancel state. Okay. This is error handling in Cloudflow. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we can continue. Any questions?
No, you can continue, Jyoti.
Okay. I'll just not take much time. Just one more thing I'll just explain. So yesterday while I was showing the expressions, I'm saying some functions we can use, right? For example, here name is equals to LU. Instead of the hard code value, what I can do, I can use the expression. And you can see here multiple functions are coming here. So in the string function, you can see concat and the collection contains, and you should provide the collection, what is the collection and it contains this value or not, and the length of the collection, the logical functions like if expression is true or false. So this way we have so many functions which we can try. Okay, these are all are available. We can try. Maybe for now we can just go with this one, concat of text 1 comma 2. So I'm saying LU comma ID. I don't know how it will concat it. Okay, you can see it came as a function here. Concat of LU comma ID. Okay, and then visualize variable. And here I'm setting this. Just to check what is coming in this value. So I'm just storing it here. Okay, saving it.
Name of the consultant and what are the fees, like when the consultant started working with the client and end date and what's his correct work. Along with that, so when we
Somebody's on call.
ఇదే బాబు వెనకటి కేక్ ఫోటో అమ్ముతాడు ఒక్కొక్కటి
వాడు చూసినా నేను సినిమా వాడు అజిత్ గారి ఫోటో స్టేటస్ పెట్టాడు ఖచ్చితంగా ఒక 10 ఫోటోలలో 10 ఉన్నాయి.
Excuse me,
తక్కువ ఉంటుంది అది.
ఆడుకున్నాం
it is not even coming here. Just a second. Hmm. Inputs of workflow run action increment status variable to type increment variable. Acha, sorry. My bad. I should set the value, not increment.
టోటల్ అంటే ఒక 2 స్థానాల్లో రావాలా ఇలా
Yeah. I think I need something here. Just a second, guys. I'm sorry. I'll just again do the same thing here. Set variable. Okay, now you can see how it's set. Here you can see LU, it is two strings. So here I have directly provided the hard-coded values, but in real-time scenarios, we can get like two string field values, and if you want to concatenate it, then we can just go with that concatenate function. Okay, so this way we have other functions as well, which we can try, like starts with, ends with, or equals or not equals. Okay, that way we can try multiple functions here. For example, I'm saying starts with, and here you can provide the text as well as which text, what I actually want to search. Okay, and also ends with. Okay, this way we can try for multiple functions. So I'll try to see, like, if I don't know whether Harish provided the assignment or not, but maybe for the functions and variables usage, maybe we'll check and we'll provide you the assignment for this one, so that you'll get to know how to use all of this one. Okay, I think, yeah, this is enough for today. So what we have checked today, the triggering conditions we have seen, and then the variables we have checked, and then try catch block, like the scope we have checked, and then functions we have checked. And also in the controls, two things we have tried today, the scope as well as the terminate, to cancel or to fail or to success the flow based on the condition, the try status. Okay, so these are the things that we have checked today. Maybe tomorrow we can continue with our session. So please let me know if you have any questions, or please try on your own so that it will be very useful and understanding of the, I mean, you'll get a good understanding in the next sessions as well. Okay, yeah, any questions, guys?